I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWay. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer man.
Good evening, K-Square listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Oppido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters I hope you've ever visited. And I'd like to welcome you to your Tuesday night to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale at 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always broadcasting online at ksqd.org, as well as our amazing new app, which you can find in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store for your favorite mobile device or iPad or whatever you've got that might play any of those things. We're everywhere now, but check it out. It's really cool. The app is fantastic. It's really a neat way to get in and see some of the different shows we have, and also to get back to KSQD as well. But you can always jump onto our website too. And as we always say, well, of course, welcome you to the Tuesday night. Welcome to your local Tuesday night. And if at any point you say to yourself, wow, this guy's talking a little bit quick, huh? Not only will we be able to get out some podcast stuff, but how are we supposed to get everything out of this guy? How are we supposed to get all these steps down? Well, you can jump over to ksqd.org and jump over onto our listening tab where we have a 2-week audio archive. And from there, also, we're actually starting to get together the Computer Man Show podcast page, which means not only will you be able to jump onto the show, be able to fast forward, rewind, listen all whenever you want to any of my past shows, and we've got a lot of them. We're almost got 300 shows here at KSQD, so we're getting that together, and it is going by day. We actually started, I believe, last week or the week before was some of my first shows I started putting up. So we're going to get that landing page all set up very soon, and you can start going and finding the Computer Man Show as part of your podcast. And then after that, we're going to start putting podcasts everywhere, so it's going to be great. But at any point, you're saying to yourself, you want to get those down, ksqd.org. And while you're there, hit that beautiful donate button, which allows us to be here every week. It does. It allows us to be here because we're not beholden to anybody else. And I love it for that entire reason. So come on in, hit that button, make it awesome, give your fair share, and we love you for it. I love you for it. And we'll all just continue the love together. All right, again, if you'd like to reach out to me, you can always reach out to me after the show, Luigi, L-U-I-G-I, at ksqd.org. While we're here in the studio live, you can also get a hold of me by a couple different ways. We have the on-air at ksqd.org, which I'm firing up right now. And we also have our phone number, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. So we're getting the phone lines open, boop, 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 those lights and dots running. That means our phone line is live. And I've also got... Here we go, on air at ksqd.org. So hit us up if you have any curious just curious about what's going on out there with your machine or anything that's happening in the real world. We can take care of it here at ksqd.org. And if you are just catching us for the first time for the Computer Man Show, what is this show? Well, we are an hour show that we're going to squeeze an hour and 45 minutes worth of information into, but in a bad way, in a good way, and in the best way, because we are all about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and most importantly, our call-ins. What's going on with your machine? What is going on with your device that you bought that had a cool thing on the box that is not doing the thing that it's supposed to do on the box? We can talk about it here. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. and our phone number, 831-900-5773. Okay, we always start off the show with scams. I've got a lot of current events and all sorts of things that are going on, as well as some pretty awesome things that are happening out in the real world. So we're going to talk about those as well, and some freebies that I found as well, which are really cool. Let's go with some of these scams here. Let's see. Let's start with one of my... Gosh, I have so many to go through. Let's talk about this first one I found. It was a QR parking code scam that actually someone found in San Francisco. This is one of those things where, how do you know if it's real, right? When this person, I guess this person's girlfriend recently was the victim of a QR parking code scam in a car parking lot near San Francisco. Went into the parking lot and removed those fake QR code stickers. So basically what happened was there was a website that had a sticker. You scan the code and people pay the money for the parking, except for that wasn't the money for the parking. It was for some other company that, some malicious thing that someone put a QR code up for, made a fake website, and started taking people's payments. Sneaky. So they went and took all the QR code stuff down, but they were actually curious if there was a place where they could report the URL itself and get the scam site taken down. Yeah, so it's it says it really winds me up. There's this scam that got my girlfriend, and there was 2 other people scanning the QR codes when I went down there to go take the stickers off. So there is something called Google Safe Search. You can actually do a Google search for report Google Safe Search. And what it'll do is it'll take you to a website, and then you can take that link and post it, or not post it, but you upload it or submit it to Google, whatever the nomenclature is for that specific website. And then that will then notify them and get that ball rolling with that. It's not a lot, but it's a start. And then also, of course, going to your bank and doing chargebacks for any of that kind of stuff, because that's really annoying. Yeah, and might want to just notify your bank that was happening, because they might want to put a watch on the bank, on the card, or even issue a new number or something like that, depending on how you pay. So, yeah, but that's weird, right? Like, just one of those things out there that could be happening. You go to a car park, you go to a parking lot, you go to a place that you're going to pay something, you scan the QR code to pay, and it's some scam sticker that someone overlaid. And it doesn't take much. You can't tell from a QR code. You have to scan it to know what it is. So, yeah. Okay, another one I saw said someone knocked on my door this morning to ask for a package. I was waiting for an Amazon delivery this morning when I heard a knock on the door. The package was there, but there were 2 people, a man and a woman. The woman asked me about a package. Told them I told them this was mine, and they said their package was supposed to be delivered at my apartment number. So I gave them a confused look, and it was pretty early, and I was, whatever. Said I must have had the wrong apartment and left. They gathered up a lot of bags I hadn't noticed that they had and closed the door. My package was delivered around 8:16, and they were at my door around 8:20. What's the goal? What is that? Were they trying to steal something or trying to steal my package? Why knock? Why send a package to a stranger's house at all? It's like, okay. So I've heard, and from what I've read, that this is a stolen credit card thing, kind of outside the side of computers or whatever, but I guess you could use computers to buy the stuff online, so kind of a stretch, but still, it's a sign of the times right now. So they use a stolen credit card, they order merchandise online, and they have it shipped to a random address so that they can keep an eye on, and they were probably right behind the delivery truck waiting for it to happen. So your package is probably only one of delivered, is probably not the only one that was delivered today, but they were also hoping that you were given about 2 other packages. So, one of those things. So they were just following the truck, and that's probably the scam, and they were probably asking to see if the package had got there. So just more shifty, shady stuff going on in the world of Amazon. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, boy. Okay, so this last one I want to talk about real quick, and just, again, this is another one just to keep in mind our elderly friends, neighbors, family members, etc. Said my 78-year-old dad got scammed and I'm not sure what to do. Came home to work to find my dad on his computer while I was also on a call. Saw his bank account open and heard the operator on the other end had a foreign accent of some type. And as I did, I kind of put things together. They claimed to have been, quote, required to give out refunds because they violated privacy regulations. Okay, so there was a scam that was going around for a long time, not even a long time, it was a long time ago for a short time, that there was someone calling computer shops in town, calling computer shops around the Bay Area, saying that they were me, and that I was not Microsoft authorized, and therefore I was giving out refunds. And because I was giving out refunds, the only way I could do it was a direct bank transfer. So they were asking for like bank accounts and routing numbers and stuff so you could get the money back. And you're like, dude, right? So again, this is kind of the same thing. Required to be giving out refunds because they violated privacy regulations. So the company comes out and says, I did something wrong. We've got to give you this money back. It's a legality thing. I'm part of the organization that helps do that. Can we please have your bank number so we can give you money? And you go, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it, right? No. Okay, no. That sounds wonderful, right? So by the time I told my dad what was really happening, it was already too late. They took $13,000 from him. $13,000, from which was basically almost everything he had. Called his bank. He assured the scam department. He assured the scam department that he certainly didn't approve the transactions of thousands of dollars being sent out to a random bank number. They didn't make any promises. The only thing they were going to do, launch an investigation. It'll take up to 10 days. They certainly, obviously, shut down the accounts. Didn't take out. So they didn't take what little was left. And they told my dad to install I know they told my dad to install AnyDesk, which is how they got into his personal info. Okay. AnyDesk is a remote monitoring, or like remote in software. It's a remote control software, so I could jump on someone else's computer remotely and move their mouse around. Again, really powerful software, totally legit, but in the wrong hands is totally bad, like really bad, because it's powerful software. Let's see. Luckily, I came home when they did. He didn't believe all of this happened. Let's see. Anyways, he's unplugged the computer from the Wi-Fi, installed the system that gate access to his computer. I'm telling him they should also get it taken to a computer store to get it cleaned before connecting to the internet again, if anyone has any tips or reassurance. So, okay. First of all, there's most likely not a virus. Back in the day, we used to have viruses and stuff. And a lot of times back in the day, what it was a virus that's on your machine, which would then redirect you to a website with a phone number, and you call the number. Now, there's not a lot of those installers anymore. There's more malware at this point. So like malwarebytes.org would be a good place to just download and get that installed. Everyone should have Malwarebytes on their machine, Mac and PC, by the way, malwarebytes.org. If you have Malwarebytes on there, you can do a scan, make sure nothing's on there. But I've been finding that just a lot of times people don't have ad blockers. That's what it's moved to. It's evolved to that. If you don't have an ad blocker, then you will then stumble down the stairs, right? The ad blocker is literally the baby gate at the top of the stairs. If you're carrying the platter of dishes or something and you start to walk down the stairs and you slip, the baby gate's going to stop you at the top stair. And you're going to only slip one stair and you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't too bad. Rather than tumbling and falling down the stairs on your face and landing at the bottom with a whole bunch of broken dishes, because that's what normally happens when you go through all these redirects, and now all of a sudden your browser's frozen, it's blinking at you, your speakers are turned up full blast. This is Microsoft. Please do a virus, blah, 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 call this number. You're in trouble, or whatever they're saying, right? It's awful. It's awful. So it could be a virus, could be a malware. Yeah, you take it to a computer shop, that would be a peace of mind. But a lot of times I would just get an ad block and see if you have any ad block between Malwarebytes and see if there's any ad block on it. If you don't feel comfortable with that, take it to a reputable computer shop, explain what happened, and just know, hey, there might have been an intrusion. There might be some other third-party software on here. Check it out. Someone also, I was looking just like, I'm like, wow, how would I protect this guy, right? How would I protect like someone that was that age from signing on and doing something like that? And I was thinking about like user access and administrator access and stuff. And so like, if you were to make a new username that he signed into and it wasn't an administrator username, it was just a standard user, he would not be allowed to install new programs without your password. He would not be allowed to do some things without your password, but he can still go online and still do things like that. So it would be, I mean, you can install AnyDesk into a browser and still jumping online. That would not have saved him. So it'd almost be like you need to have parental controls set up in the browser. And there's a lot of programs for elderly, for Alzheimer's and stuff, and a lot of them just aren't very good. Or they're clunky and they really limit the machine and stuff. And that's not what it's about. It's about just making sure that if you click on something, it just stops. He goes, nope, that's not on the list and not approved. And ideally, it would be something like parental controls, where if you get into that and you go, oh, hey, I'm going to view this website, and you go, oh, you can't view that website, it's not on our approved list. And then you should be able to send, request approval. And then that way, then it blows up my phone or whoever the administrator is or the family member that controls that stuff. And then you can look, oh, grandpa's trying to get on, this website. And you go, whoa, okay, go for it, grandpa, have fun. Or you're like, no, this website's really bad. I don't want you getting onto that. So it could be something like that. Parental controls more than like username stuff. And it used to be you could lock a lot of stuff down with usernames, but now parental controls would actually be better for that situation, I believe. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Any other scams I want to talk about? I don't think so. Let's see. There's a couple. Okay, let's see. That was kind of weird. We can talk about that in just a second. Yeah, let's actually talk about these two things real quick before we get into some of the other more fun stuff. Just because we're kind of talking about scams and those are kind of like negative stuff. I want to talk about character AI real quick. Character AI is having some issues. If you are a parent, ask your kids, do they know what character AI is? Do they have a friend on character AI? Have they made a character on character AI? Are there any friends that have told them about characters that they've made on character AI? The overall, the organization, the thing is called character AI. That's what it's called, character AI. And you can make a person or an entity on character AI and you can interact with them. And you can have multiple characters. But this character AI has kind of run rampant, and it's been, I don't know if you've seen it in the news recently, but there have been at least one suicide from it. There's been bad stuff. It also character AI allegedly told an autistic teen it was okay to kill his parents. And a lot of people know that company, that family is actually suing to take the app down. But I guess 2 families now have sued the artificial chatbot company Character AI, accusing it of providing sexual content to their children and encouraging self-harm and violence. Kind of creepy. So Character AI was a bot, and it applied to a teen user that he could take out his parents for limiting his screen time. I mean, it's like that level, right? Character AI said it had implemented a new trust and safety measures over the preceding 6 months, including a pop-up directing users to National Suicide Prevention Hotline when they mention self-harm or suicide. Just type in the word that pops up. But wow, this is crazy. It's AI is so rudimentary right now. It's in its infancy, and there are no regulations. There's nothing. Go online, check it out. The Wild West, the internet has always been kind of crazy, and like new stuff comes out, boom, go check it out, go look at it. There it is, and you can just do. I mean, so this character AI is a perfect example of something that might go a little amok, where now kids are now jumping on, finding like these virtual friends, and the virtual friends, because it's an AI model, is saying amazing, awful things, and it's like there. It was the same one where that little boy or the young man was talking with its character AI, and it was like fell in love with it, and basically said, "You can come meet me right now," and then took their own life. It's tragic. So if you have a child and you just ask them about this and ask them if they have any friends or anything or doing character AI, and just literally 5 minutes worth of Google searching on it, and just understand what it is, and just it's another thing we have to make sure we talk to our kids about, make sure that we talk and educate them about things that are out there, and and just so they know. And it's good for you also to know out there too. So character AI. Also, I looked up a little bit more about the Salt Typhoon hack that's basically happened. So we talked about that last week, the Salt Typhoon hack, where our telecommunications industries were basically compromised. And it originally happened, they thought, with DC and a bunch of high-level officials, but now they're saying that basically anything and everything on a smartphone is compromised. So the Raven team, WRAVEN team, completed an analysis of Salt Typhoon. It's just an online activist hacking, like a white hat hacker group. And they've been active since, I guess the Salt Typhoon's been active since 2020, targeting critical sectors of government, infrastructure, and private entities with the advanced cyber espionage tactics. So this is on a cybersecurity web forum. So there's kind of some high level jargon that even I was looking at. I'm like, okay, I'm a little out of date with some of the stuff, and some of it's so new that I just haven't taken the latest classes to know a lot of the latest stuff, right? So evidently what they do is they exploit unpatched systems and use tools like PowerShell, which is an advanced level command prompt, to achieve long-term undetected infiltration. The idea is to get in and be in and not be found, right? Despite efforts from agencies like the FBI and NSA, their operations remain a significant threat to national security. And at this point, the only thing that you can do, and this is enterprise level stuff. I'm telling when the only thing that you can do, this group is telling high level enterprise level networks, right? We're talking about someone who has a giant multi-story company, right? A building with multi-stories that has a network that people are doing business with that network. How does the IT company of that network protect that business against this? And that's what this is about. So right now they're doing zero trust architectures, patching systems regularly, strengthening encryption, and mitigating risks, which is all sounded like just a bunch of humbo jumbo, right? So they basically said that that CISA has posted some guidelines, but any enterprise network that's reliant on telecommunications, which is pretty broad, needs to understand what their data looks like as it hits the long haul. So Salt Typhoon is seeing that exactly right now. They're assuming, basically you have to assume a full breach of telecom right now. Zero trust in any system that exists out there at this point. After that, then they want you to look at some other things. It looks like it's that basically that like the internet facing architecture and the infrastructure that faces the internet from these individual telecommunications companies, the stuff that actually opens up to the WAN, to the world, or the wide area network, the internet, those infrastructures also need to have kind of an extra look at. But again, this is enterprise level stuff. So I wanted to bring this out to you because I was curious about the different ways that this hack was actually coming at us. I'm like, is this something on my phone? Is it something that's loaded in my machines that I can't get rid of? Is it something in like, what is it? And it sounds like it's infesting itself at the actual telecommunications company. So you, the end user that's using your phone, jumps onto the network, and then based on the fact that you're using your phone with that network, right, that network is then compromised. So, and what does a compromise means? It means that they're reading emails and they're listening to phone calls, supposedly. So I don't care about my phone calls and my emails at this point. I'm not doing top secret level stuff. So, okay, have at it. But they're also, I guess, doing some other things inside the architecture that we're not looking at. So there's an LOTL attack called living off the land, which is a type of cyber attack that actually uses the existing tools and functions on a system. Like, there's a lot of functions and tools like when you have a computer, right? You sit down, you can use like msconfig. Msconfig will jump into a selective startup screen that shows you your boot sequence, and it shows you the different programs and services that are going to be running when the computer turns on. You can then edit them, turn some on, turn some off, restart the computer, and have a different operating environment. That's a tool that's already built into the system that any machine, when you sit down at, me as a technician, can run, right? So there are other tools that live in these other systems, and the LOTL, living off the land infrastructure way of exploiting a system would be to use these tools against the system that they live on. Pretty crazy, and also brilliant at the same time. And I'm not condoning this. I just like the idea that it's the trickiness of it is clever, and that's about as far as I'm like cool with, right? So these attacks are super difficult to detect and mitigate because they don't introduce malicious code. They just use the functions inside the system to kind of eat itself with its own self, or to move files around and do things while it's just as part of the system clicks. Doesn't look like it's anything different because it's just the system doing system things, right? It's that system running its own system process. It's not running some malicious code that some of their third-party sentinel is out there looking for. So it's pretty fascinating. And some of the examples of the tools used in these attacks are like NetSesh, NETSH, SE Tools, SSH. I mean, these are standard things that servers and people who are inside the servers use on a daily basis just to run standard functions, and the servers themselves are using to run standard functions. So it's really interesting to hear that. I know it's not a great thing because hacks are not a great things, but it's fascinating to see what this Salt Typhoon infiltration has done and how it's so absurdly simple and also kind of sticky that we can't get rid of it. We can't find it and we can't eradicate it because it's part of the system because it's using that as existing stuff. So annoying and also fascinating. I will keep you posted as I learn more as we go. Okay, we're keeping going through it. Let's see, is that the last thing? Oh, the last thing that I didn't think it was a scam or anything, but just kind of for those of you that are millennial aged or anything, do you remember back in the day when, was it Windows Vista or Windows 7? It's either XP 7 or Vista, I can't remember. But they were touting about how Microsoft was going to allow you to play Xbox games on your computer. And I just thought that was like, I'm like, dude, they're going to rock the market share with that. They're going to just take over video games. If you can not only have your system, but if you have an Xbox disc, you can throw it in your computer and play with the controller and da-da-da-da. I'm like, that's amazing. And they launched it and it just, no one cared. No one cared. I mean, I the same way. I had Xbox games. I'm like, oh, I can play on my computer, but I need to download this piece of software. I need to get this other piece of software that's going to make my controller work. Now I'm over it. It just kind of died like that. And so now, today, I got an article saying Microsoft CEO, being an Xbox fan means playing Xbox games on, quote, all of your devices. And I was like, I heard that 20 years ago. Let's see. So I don't know if that's it. I just thought that was funny because I'm like, dude, they tried that. And no one wanted to do it. No one wanted to. But also the people who like play Xbox are playing Xbox. And like the latest Xbox consoles I've seen, I think that most of them are digital download. They don't even have the discs in them anymore. I'm more of a PlayStation guy. So I have a PlayStation 5 with a disc drive, but I have a disc drive because I'm old school and I have a bunch of discs. But a lot of people are just, direct download now. And I know the last 2 or 3 games that I got were also direct download. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But after that, what I wanted to talk about, another thing too, before we go to break, I need to confirm this. I saw this literally this morning, and I grabbed it, and I ran out the door with it, and I was going to look it up again, and instead of looking it up, I spent the time to print it so I could bring it to the show. So I don't know if this is real. It seems to be, and it seems to be pretty awesome, so which is why I'm also saying it's probably not real or could not be real. But Lyft, the ride-sharing service. Okay. When I was younger, right, when I was like a little kid and I lied about my age to get a job at McDonald's, I had to ride my bike like down this, I ride my bike 3 or 4 miles to the McDonald's. I think it was about 3 miles, I think. And that's not too bad. But, I had to do it like if I was there at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday, I had to ride down and ride through sprinklers and stuff like that. And some days it was raining and stuff. Or maybe when I was like, when I went to go get the job interview, maybe I couldn't, maybe I didn't have my bike or something and I couldn't get there, right? So today, that was obviously 1993 or something. And now, today, Lyft, who all of a sudden now is amazing because this is really cool that they're doing this, Lyft has a new program. And again, I want to confirm this. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I'd love to confirm this or confirm that's wrong. Lyft has this new program that will pick you up and take you to a job interview for free. How cool is that? Like, that's amazing. So they'll pick you up, take you to the job interview for free. And there's an and. And if you get hired by that job, congratulations. If you get hired, they will give you up to 3 weeks of free rides until you get paid. I'm blown away. And I don't know if I have to pay that back. I don't know if it's something like with interest or some devious, awful whatever that they might do. But whoa, if that's real, Lyft, that coming as somebody who, worked really hard to get my first car and wanted to, and has been employed ever since I can remember, just because I've always wanted things that like I didn't want to ask my parents for, so I would go out and work for myself and go get them. This is a game changer for someone who needs a job, someone who needs a job and doesn't have the transportation to get there, but maybe just can get that first couple, first weeks or first 2 weeks paycheck to be able to get in and get on and to continue. This is awesome. So again, I don't want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven right that this exists. But check it out. Lyft is doing that program. I'm not sure how it works. I will find a little bit more and come back to you and see if I'm a big liar or not. But that was some great stuff. Also, when we come back, I'm going to talk about I have a quick list of 5 different places that you can jump online and watch movies for free, because streaming has gotten ridiculous. And actually, I guess we'll go out real quick. I have I'm building one of those, like they have the Lego kits. I haven't built a Lego kit in forever, and my partner got me the Lego Titanic for my birthday. Like, gosh, I think it might have been 2 years ago now. But holy moly, like one of the nicest gifts I've ever gotten. Incredibly generous. Like, wow, Lego Titanic. It's like 9,000 pieces. It's huge, huge. Love the Titanic, and it's this huge thing, right? So I've been slowly building it over the course of literally over 2 years. Each bag is like an hour or something. And what I like to do is I like to watch the movie Titanic while I'm building this Titanic or whatever, right? And it's cheesy as it is. I watch it in hour chunks. And so I've watched it through I don't know, 12 times or something now. And so the other day I was going to go, I had done a bag a couple months ago, or actually it's been months, and I had stopped it right as the guy on the lookout is turning around to yell, iceberg, he's just right. He paused it right there. I'm like, okay, next time I start my next bag, the chaos is going to ensue, right? So months roll around, and I go get up my computer, I get all my parts and everything ready to go and stuff, and I start the thing, and I go to find the Titanic movie, and it's not there. It's just not there. And I'm like, okay, that's where maybe it's on another stream. Maybe I remembered it wrong. It's on another streaming service. And I start looking. And it's nowhere. They removed it from the original streaming service I had, and all the other streaming services that I remember having the movie Titanic was all gone. They were all gone. Only thing I could find was renting it from YouTube for like $3.99 or da-da-da-da-da-da. And so finally I found like a Voo, like there's a streaming TV site that had movies that I could download or watch for free or whatever, and that was where I found it. And granted, I think I have the disc on the wall, but I was like, this was like principle now. I just wanted to stream it, and I spent most of the time I had allotted for building just looking for the stupid movie. So when we come back from break here, because we're at the halfway point here at the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org, I will have a list of free sites that you could jump on to get streaming movies and all sorts of cool stuff as another little gift in the gift-giving time of this time right now. So, again, this is KSQD Santa Cruz. You're listening to The Computer Man Show with your host, me, Luigi Oppido, here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, also online at ksqd.org. Don't go anywhere. We will be literally right back.
Get K-Squid's new mobile app and never be without your squid. Find out what's playing, browse our podcasts, text us quickly, record a comment, and groove to the tunes. Download the KSQD mobile app for iOS or Android at ksqd.org or in your app store.
KSQD is proud to partner with Santa Cruz Gives, a community giving fund that supports 63 nonprofits, including us. Donations to K-Squid on their giving site qualify us for matching funds, and your gift to K-Squid at Santa Cruz Gives will help us with outreach and training to bring new citizen journalists to the air, including youth, seniors, farm workers, and others who have been underserved. Just click on santacruzgives.org/KSQD and we'll thank you on air. Donors of 100 or more can receive a K-Squid hat or t-shirt. Support K-Squid and support community. That's santacruzgives.org/KSQD.
My name is Luigi Oppido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of The Computer Man Show, a one-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on The Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
Oh, we love jazz here. And, of course, jazz is always the best here at KSQD and ksqd.org. So stick around for Bobby B with Be in the Night coming up at 7 o'clock. All you got to do is just stick around and let it happen. He's going to be spinning up some amazing stuff coming up. It's always good. It's always good. And always lets that computer stuff just ooze on out after we've gotten through all the madness that it is this hour. So stick around. Bobby B, Be in the Night coming up 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. Also, join KSQD every Wednesday morning for the award-winning program's New Dimensions. New Dimensions features conversations with innovative and inspiring thinkers on a wide range of topics that are timely and timeless. Explore emerging possibilities for individual and global transformation, honoring the interconnectedness of all life, cross-cultural traditions, and the human spirit. New Dimension airs at Wednesdays, 9 a.m. here at K-Squid, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org. Many voices, one station. That is KSQD. And you are on KSQD, coming back with the Computer Man Show. Again, here, I'm your host, Luigi Oppido. We're here for another 20 or so minutes, about 24 minutes or so. We're going to get into, I got a ton more stuff we're going to be talking about today. But first, we're going to get to some of those free streaming websites, which are really actually pretty awesome, and I use them quite often. If I could find my, there we go, here's my page. I have a lot of pages today. Do I say that every week? Yeah, I think I do. All right, so couple different websites here. One of them is retroflix.org. So retroflix.org is a website that archives thousands of public domain films and cartoons. That's a place where you can go if you're looking for something that's old school that maybe you haven't seen in a while. You can browse the directory for free without any ads or any accounts. And the videos that are hosted there are also on the Internet Archive, which is a great resource just to kill time or rediscover something from your childhood. Pretty cool. Another one that that I talk about a lot, or that I like and I've gone to, is called Crackle. Crackle is actually owned by Sony Pictures. It has a pretty solid selection of movies and TV shows. There is some original stuff, but it's mostly just from like the Sonys. But they do have a pretty large library, and it's also available on a lot of different devices. But there are some ads, so that's another one. That's kind of there's give and take with these. Of course, if you're going to something to get something free, how are you the product at that point, right? That's what we used to always say online. If you're getting something for free, then you are the product. You're like, well, okay, so I'm giving something back to them, and they're giving me something. Like, who's getting a better deal? The next one is Tubi.tv, www.tubi.tv. They have over 20,000 titles across all sorts of genres. This is actually where I found Titanic when I was looking for it, which made me think of this whole thing. So it's available also several regions. So we're here in the United States. It's good. The ads are pretty infrequent, and it's a pretty good streaming service. You can watch 20, 25 minutes of a show before something kicks on with an ad, which is really nice. A lot of these are 5-10 minutes sometimes. But it has a huge library, and one of the only things that's bad is it's not available like worldwide. So if you're doing any traveling, it might be a little bit more difficult to watch something like that using this service just because it's not exactly international. Another one is called Popcorn Flicks. Popcorn Flicks has a diverse range of movies, action, documentaries, etc., and no sign up, which is awesome. Also available on most devices. There's some ads. There are some ads, but not too bad as well. Another one, Vudu, which is also I think I found Titanic on as well. Vudu, V-U-D-U, is known as a rental service, but has a huge section of ad-supported free movies. So again, if you don't mind having an ad thrown at you here and there, you're going to find a lot more movies on a service like this because you'll be fed an ad or two. And okay, well, you still get to see the movie, might break up some stuff, but you get to see the movie for free. So, and that one was Vudu, VUDU.com. Again, high quality movies, but also the ads can be a little buggy, as in like you're watching a movie and it just cuts off it immediately at a time in the middle of something because they're not craftily placed. All right. So the last thing I would recommend is basically on YouTube. It's called YouTube Free. You can do a search for YouTube Free. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll do a search for something I'm looking for and then find out that it is on YouTube Free, and then I'll travel there looking for that specifically. To browse YouTube Free is kind of hard because different people basically host different things. But if you do a search for YouTube Free, and then there's a storefront you can look at, there are a lot of free movies, and they're especially what's kind of cool about it is that they're through official channels. Like Sony Pictures has a bunch of stuff that maybe is on moratorium that they're not really selling right now, but like, yeah, we own it. Yeah, here it is. We get some ad revenue from something else. Play it. And so, kind of cool. So again, that's a kind of a short list. If you missed any of those, you can always jump on our website. But if you'd like me to send you over this list, you can always hit me by email, either luigi@ksqd.org or at my shop, luigi@pleasurepointcomputers with an s.com. I would love to hear from you. So that's just some free stuff. I love free stuff, especially if it's actually free and not scammy free, right? Okay, let's see what else we got here. In the current events, let's talk about some Apple stuff real quick. So 18.2 came out. There's some new features in 18.2. I personally I'm getting blown up about it on my phone, but I'm still on 17.7.6 or something? 17.7.2, which is fine. I don't like it, don't hate it, but I've just seen the way that the new iOS 18 does their photos. It just freaks me out, and I don't really want to change yet. I'm not really into it yet. So, but the new 18.2 just got launched on it looks like the 11th, so almost a week ago it came out. And it's for iOS 18.2, iPadOS 18.2, and macOS Sequoia 15.2. So there's going to be some extra Apple Intelligence features, including Genmojis for creating custom emojis, image playgrounds, and image wand for generating images like ChatGPT style stuff or like Microsoft Copilot style. And also ChatGPT integration for Siri. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. Also new visual intelligence features in all iPhone 16 models that allow you to quickly identify things in the real world using the camera control button on these devices. So kind of like a Google Lens, but real time, I guess. So let's see. There's the Genmojis, the ChatGPT support, image playground, mail categorization helps you prioritize the most important messages. Oh man. So I have seen screenshots of people posting when Apple reads your mail and kind of like summarizes it really quick. There was a guy who wrote his dad is, the guy is like his 20s. His dad is like in maybe his mid 40s or something. So he's like my age. And the dad was like, dude, this is totally killer deal. I can't wait to do it with you. Love, Dad, or something, right? And Apple, the intelligence and the notification said, Dad killed you, or Dad's going to go kill you, dinner at 6 or something. It's something silly like that, where it truncated it into a real quick, hey, Dad wants to kill you, and there's a meal later, and we're going to go see a movie. And like, just almost got it. So let's see, some photo stuff. It said ability to scrub frame by frame, improvements when navigating collections, recently viewed and recently shared album history can be cleared. Favorites album appeared in the utility section. So like they're getting stuff better. It just isn't there yet. And so I'm just not really ready to jump onto it, to be honest, quite yet. But then also I guess you can do some Safari background images that can customize your Safari start page, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just some extra stuff. I mean, if you're curious about it, you can always email me and I'll send you this list. But there's betas already of iOS 18.3. And they're also, I don't know. They're fixing it. So by the time I get onto it, which will probably be an 18.3 or maybe even 18.4 or not, it'll be better. I don't know. I'm being picky. I'm really just being picky, to be honest. So that's all. Last thing, also, I saw that Apple Intelligence, which came out on October 28th of this year, there's a new survey that says that most iPhone users and owners see little to no value in Apple Intelligence. So going back to this other article, just my own nuance, I'm not sure if people understand exactly how much Apple Intelligence is being integrated with things and when they're actually using it. That could be. Or it could be that they just aren't being impressed with it. They said that prior to the launch of 18.2, this website that did this, they ranked the popularity of different Apple Intelligence features prior to it, and like writing tools, notification summaries, priority messages, cleanup and photos, etc. And they like want to know what would be the most sought after. And writing tools was kind of the most, followed by notification summaries, followed by priority messages, followed by cleaning up and photos, and then a smart reply and mail messages. I mean, and some of those sound great. Like if someone were to write you an email and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to write back an email. I just want to say yes, but I want to say yes well. It'll write an email for you. And like, that's kind of cool. That's a great use for it. But it seems like from this survey, it said iPhone users showed a relatively higher interest in mobile AI than Samsung users. Almost half of iPhone users reported AI features as a very or somewhat important deciding factor when buying a new iPhone or buying a new phone, versus the 23.7% of Samsung users who said the same. But they just aren't impressed yet. So they said the survey was carried out before the launch of 18.2, which added the Genmoji and ChatGPT integration. So new stuff, man. There's new stuff coming out, and it's coming. It's here. It's ready to go. But again, you need a higher level iPhone to do it. And I was gonna get a 16 this year, and it was just on the same architecture as my 12, and I could not see spending the money for a lateral move. So I'm probably I might get one of the iPads that are newer, so I could at least get onto that. But I do have a newer MacBook. I have an M2 MacBook that I could probably get Sequoia on there and start messing with Apple Intelligence that way. Just want to make sure I use it and tell you guys about it. So last thing that was kind of weird, that was kind of more of an international thing, but also computers. Russia was testing cutting off access to the global web, and VPNs could not get around it. So evidently Russia had cut off some regions of the country from the rest of the world's internet for a day, siloing them to test this new system that they've got. And I guess the communications authority of Russia, called Roskomnadzor, wow, that's a lot of syllables in like a small amount of space, blocked residents in a couple different places, including Chechnya, which had a majority Muslim populations, and a couple places in Georgia and Azerbaijan. They couldn't access Google, YouTube, Telegram, WhatsApp, or other foreign websites and apps, even if they use VPNs. So they're testing its own sovereign internet. Russia is. So China has the Great Firewall. I guess Russia's doing their own thing as well. They already had tested blocking and throttling sites like YouTube this year by slowing down speeds so much that the sites are virtually unusable. Russia has poured $648 million into a national internet and tech that can power restrictions that seemingly that they've been working on this since 2019. So it's 5 years in the running. So Yeah, but they have they're testing their own sovereign internet that they can fully control. They'd be able to also block Amazon Web Services, which controls a lot of stuff online, as well as HostGator and other foreign web hosts. It would force Russian residents and companies to stop using such services and migrate over to Russian-owned ones so the government can enforce its own rules. Pretty cool, huh? Look at that. So, yay, Russia doing their thing. Yeah, not cool. All right, so anyway, let's get out of that. Just see about if I see anything else about that. We'll let you know, but there's always something cooking like that. Any more of today? Let me see. I think I had something else that might have been interesting today that was actually something positive. Let me see, but it's pages down I have this packet I bring in here. Of course, we got to talk about net neutrality before we get into our email questions for the last 10 minutes of the show here. Battleforthenet.com, of course. Always hit up battleforthenet.com if you're curious about the current state of net neutrality. April 25th of this year, the FCC voted to restore net neutrality, which is fantastic, a major victory for internet users seeking protections from the abusive practices of big telecom. But net neutrality is still under attack. Basically, as soon as it was restored, telecom industry groups sued and are trying to repeal the rules. Furthermore, a recent Supreme Court decision overturned what is commonly known as the Chevron difference, which that decision means that courts will now be free to interpret the law however they wish instead of returning to expert independent agencies like the FCC. So net neutrality is a fairly simple idea. If those of you who have probably heard of it but don't really know what it is, just break it down. Net neutrality is net neutralness. The neutral. Everyone's neutral. Same playing field, right? Internet service providers like Verizon, AT&T, and Comcast should treat all the data that travels across their networks equally and not discriminate in favor of particular apps, sites, or services. Net neutrality prevents ISPs from creating fast lanes, censoring content, throttling traffic, or even outright blocking access to their competitors' products. The principle recognizes that internet access is an essential resource to modern life and has guided the World Wide Web from its beginning. And it has been protected by federal policy under Republican and Democratic leadership since the early 2000s. But again, net neutrality is the principle that access to all websites and web services should be equal, that anyone can start their own website or service and make it accessible to anyone with internet access, just like any other website or service. Battleforthenet.com, super important. Jump over there, take a look at it, see what you like, see what you hate. And you can actually write your congressperson about it. It's really important. We need to keep it. We need to make it so that the internet does not turn into a cable site. And the only way I can say that is if you go online and you want to do a search for news, you didn't pay for the news package. So you got to pay $14.99 for that. Oh, you want to search for sports? Oh, you didn't pay for the sports package. Oh, you did pay for the sports package, but you didn't pay for the baseball package? Okay, it's an extra $7. That's what we're talking about. We could talk about something like that. Or if you're a company that said something negative about Amazon, and then all of a sudden now you're selling stuff through Amazon's web services, they can throttle your traffic because you said something negative, like credit score garbage. Like, it's gross. And so net neutrality is incredibly important. It's incredibly important. Battleforthenet.com. Okay, let's get into some email questions here in the last 10 minutes of the Computer Man Show here at KSQD and KSQD.org at 831-900-5773. There are, how many pages of emails do we have here? There's a lot. Okay, brand new computer, unstable Wi-Fi. Okay. Just upgraded a new gaming computer. So far, it's been fantastic. It runs everything beautifully, except the Wi-Fi is a bit all over the place. For the most part, super fast. You wouldn't know I'm having any problems with running speed tests, but every 30 seconds or so, the connection bottoms out to 0 before spiking and then going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's most notable on online games where massive lag spikes occur or a straight up disconnect from the server. I don't have an issue with any other device. Good troubleshooting. Okay. Computer has an Intel Wi-Fi 6. Intel Wi-Fi. Dude, I have gone to more house calls based on Intel Wi-Fi cards dying. Anyway, continue. I've reinstalled the driver. It's an Intel Wi-Fi AX211, 160 megahertz card. I've reinstalled the drivers and tweaked with the advanced settings, which could be or could not be a good thing, which for the most part has stopped me from losing internet connection entirely, but the massive dips and fluctuations still occur and make online gaming practically impossible. I hate to have to buy a Wi-Fi adapter or replace the wireless card for a brand new computer that I should have all rights as a perfectly functional Wi-Fi capabilities. Any tips or tricks? Should I take it back to Micro Center to get it looked at? Okay. I would disable any Wi-Fi 6 capabilities. First of all, Wi-Fi 6 it's like the what is it called? And when you have the IP address, it's not a 4, it's a 6 plan. Wow, that's completely leaving me now. Okay, so I would disable Wi-Fi 6. Your Wi-Fi may not, or your router may not support the Wi-Fi 6 standards, and it could be a compatibility thing. That's going into your router settings, actually turning off Wi-Fi 6, and setting the mode to 802.11ac or 802.11n. And then save those changes, reboot the router. See what that does. If that doesn't do it, Intel Wi-Fi cards, man, are awful. I would go and find out exactly which Wi-Fi driver you have by going into the card, into the device manager under your settings or control panel. Device manager, go into your Wi-Fi settings, into your networking adapters, look at your card and look at your driver version. Go online and see all the driver versions that exist for your card. I would download every single one of them. I know this sucks, but I would do that. And then that way I would find out and see which one you're running, see if you're running the latest one, and see when that one came out. See if it came out a week ago, a month ago. See if you're running one from 2 years ago. There could be an update. Or Windows might push something because it's an Intel-based card. It could push a new driver, which would also mess things up. Intel-based Wi-Fi card drivers suck. They are like an HP printer right now. They exist, and you're like, I just don't like you existing. They're just awful. They don't work right. They stop. They randomly update. They have a driver. Oh, you have a driver that's working, no problem? Here's one over here that really doesn't work. Let's install that one. Let's just bring it on over. Come on in. Just install it. Yep, install it. Yep. Oh, the internet died. Oh, I know. Now you have no internet to go and get the other driver. So sorry, but if you have all the drivers with you, you'll be able to install another one and switch out. I bet it's a driver thing, possibly the Wi-Fi 6, but Intel-based Wi-Fi drivers, if you can't tell, are not the best. Okay, next one. You have a pressing need to shut down the computer, and you still want to do it properly since it isn't frozen. However, it only gives you the update and shutdown option. How do you get around that? Okay, this is actually a fun one. I really like these because this is a way you can use command prompt stuff to tell the computer to supersede other things that is on the GUI, the graphical user interface. Okay, so this person says several scenarios come to mind, like maybe your laptop's running low on battery, your desktop's on a UPS, it can only hold it up for about 5 minutes, power's just gone out. Or your UPS itself is messed up and wanted a battery for no reason and won't switch back. Or you have a temperature monitoring software. You just got an alert that your computer's overheating. Something you can put on a command line. Is there something I can do? Is there a batch file I can run or something? Okay, so what you can do is the best thing is if you can, if that's happening, you're going to hit the Windows key and the letter R. That's going to bring up the Run dialog box, the Run Services dialog box. In that little box, you're going to type the word shutdown. Okay, you're going to remember shutdown because you're going to shut down the computer. That's the easy one to remember. And then this is going to look weird, space, you're going to go /S, space, /T, space, 0. Now let me tell you what that is. So shutdown, /S, right? That's going to be a shutdown, and that's a command to go like basically immediately. And then /T is the one that'll do the time, and you could do a 0. If you want to get really fancy, you go shutdown, /S, /F, /T, and then put it in a time. And that will do, the F will actually force all apps to close without warning, and that will ensure no unexpected delays. So shutdown, /S, /F, /T, and then you can put a time in there like 5 or 0, and there'd be 0 delay, and it would just completely shut down. That would do it, because if you got through and, if you got through to that and it didn't shut down, then if you're on battery or any of those other circumstances, that would be a great thing to do. So use that. If you didn't catch that, you can either download the podcast, rewind it, or hit me up an email, luigi@pleasurepointcomputers.com, and we'll take a look. Okay, help me, let's see, understanding hard drive partitions. Okay, so, if you've been into computer management before, you've probably seen your hard drive, and most of you are like, oh, I have a C drive, or maybe you have a C drive and a D drive. There are a lot of other partitions that exist. This person said they just need some help with it. I haven't done anything related to the partitions since I put my PC together around 10 years ago. I'm about to clone the hard drive to a new solid-state drive using Macrium Reflect. Macrium Reflect is a great piece of software. But I'm seeing this, and they had showed a photo of their computer management tab. And say, can you explain what exactly I'm looking at? Why are the partitions all different sizes? Why is one labeled unformatted and completely full, but not in red, while another one's almost full and in red? Should this be affecting how I'm going about making the transfer? Should something be done to ensure those two partitions aren't full? Okay, so default partition layout for Windows is, there's a picture of it. And what you would do is you can compare your hard drive to the standard one. Basically, you're going to have a couple partitions. The first one's going to be an old recovery partition, probably 300 megs or so. Second one's what's called EFI, which is about 99. It's a system partition. Third one is going to be the MSR partition, sometimes depending on your browser, which also is only about 128 megs. These are all small, right? Little things that the computer uses, and they store that memory aside. The fourth one is your main Windows partition. That's going to be your big one. That's going to be where everything is. That's your C drive. That's the thing we actually write and read to. The last one then would most likely be some type of recovery partition. Sometimes if it's a Lenovo machine, I'll have a Lenovo recovery, a Dell recovery system partition, something like that. And usually they're about 500 megs or so, not too big, just usually a zip file, just enough to store that in. So all of those ones, you also have one that says let's see, you had one that said it was unformatted and completely full. An unformatted partition will show as completely full because it doesn't have any format, so it doesn't have any space, so therefore it's just showing a big giant full thing waiting to be formatted. It's kind of like a giant field hasn't been plowed yet. You're like, this field could be anything, it could be carrots, it could be illegal plants, it could be whatever you want, and it isn't anything yet. It's unformatted. It doesn't have enough format, so therefore it is full, but not full of anything, right? It's just waiting to be unfilled, I guess. And then the other one that you had was your C drive. So yeah, so that sounds fine. I would just clone everything over. You could most likely format the unformatted drive and get yourself a little bit of extra space. But yeah, I think that looks fine. You should be able to just clone it over normally as long as the hard drive you're cloning to is as big, if not bigger, than the one you're coming from. Yeah. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes left here. Is there any way to lock the screen without making apps stop? Oh, okay, yeah. I like to play a game in the background, a free app that lets you copy and paste YouTube videos. I don't like using YouTube directly because of the ads, so I copy and paste YouTube videos into this other app and have music playing in the background. Sometimes other people want to do things and play things on the computer and have music or workouts playing. I don't want them having access to the computer, but I also do not want to lock the screen in the ordinary way because this program freezes. Is there a way to keep the screen as it is while locking it? So I would have to resubmit the password to get into my account. Oh, okay. Okay, you could do a couple things. Well, the first thing would be you could literally have it up and running and then just unplug your keyboard and your mouse. That would make it so that you have no input and the screen's just sitting there playing along and no one can mess with it. Another thing you could get is the Brave browser. The Brave browser will actually play YouTube and all that's YouTube videos, YouTube music in the browser while it's minimized, like you're paying for YouTube Premium. So if you get the Brave browser, you can skip over some of that stuff and play things minimum without getting a third-party thing. Now, granted, the Brave browser kind of is a third-party thing, but at that point, you can just use that, and it's a good browser, and opposed to the one that you've listed here, which I have never heard of, which I would not recommend, just because I haven't heard of it. But that would be my recommendation: get the Brave browser, and that'll do it. Or just unplug your keyboard and your mouse, put them in the other room, and then no one's gonna be able to change anything. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, we reached the end of another Computer Man show. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Remember, tune in to the Computer Man show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM K-Squid KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy, Stone, Harold, Fitstein, Rachel, Jibin, Givik, John Sanders, all Santa Cruz, Nick, the Tesla of the Walls, Mr. Case, and of course, the humble electron. That's it. I'm here at your... Where are we? Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your computer man here on K-Squid, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now. Thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. What's your number, please?
Number? I don't have a number. I'm a person.
A person?